Hello everybody out there, this is Seto Kaiba from your Yu-Gi-Oh chat channel, and today I want to talk about something about creativity in deck building. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I've seen from some of your guys' posts that you have posted and some messages I've gotten, and these are from videos I've seen from last week, the week before, and stuff like that, but it's about creativity in deck building and how I see that it's actually lacking in some capacity. Now, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I'm going to get started on this video, but I just really want to talk about this. There are some decks out there right now, I'm noticing, that they have no it's like the people that made the deck have no creative bone in their body. E-Dragons, Elemental Dragons, Elemental Lords, whatever they're called now. That deck I keep seeing over and over again when I look online and stuff. It's the same build. Every single one is the same. Spellbooks. Pretty much besides Kaiku, every single thing is the same I see. Okay? It's like all the same. There's no difference between one deck and the other right now. Now maybe that's just top tier decks. But I'm seeing the same thing at my locals now. And just with friends in general. They're running the same, it's like identical. It's like Gravekeepers, for example. I've only seen within the last year online, and I've looked through a lot of Gravekeeper deck profiles. I've only seen two besides my own Gravekeeper decks that ran something besides Malefics that ran Visionary. They're all the same. Every deck out there I see a lot of times, it's like a copycat of your friend's deck. There's very few differences. Now, this is not to say, like, for example, I'll give you an example. Dark Worlds. Every Dark World deck should run 3 Grapha, 3 Snow, 3 Brow. Okay? Every Gravekeeper deck should run, without, arguing, should run 3 Necro Valley, 3 Spy, 3 Recruiter, right? I think that they're staples for your deck, and that's fine. I'm not arguing about staple cards like that. I'm talking about the decks in general. It looks like they're net decking deck for deck, and they're not putting any thought into their head about, well, let's try this card in this deck. Maybe it'll make it more better than what this guy did. They don't do that. They just net deck, and I have nothing against net decking. I've done it before, but it's usually to get a template, like a blueprint. Like, okay, this is how this works. This is how this works. Okay, well, let's try this. I did that with the Toon deck. I've done that with all my decks. All my decks are different. If you look at any of my decks that I've built, they're not like normal decks out there. That's one thing that I've never been a proprietor of, is I'm trying to be my own person. I work with what works for me. I try to make things my own, build them to the way I do, stuff like that. That's what you gotta do, because I've seen a lot of times guys will just, they'll just copy a deck, they'll play with that deck, and they suck at it. I'm like, what, did you put any of your ideas? Did you put any cards that you've had in your deck, like compulsory evacuation? Did you think about putting MSTs, because a lot of the guys around you run a lot more traps? No, I didn't think that. This guy did good with this, so why am I not doing good with this? I'm like, so you're telling me the answer why you didn't put more thought into this deck is because this other guy on YouTube did good with it, and that means you're going to do good with it. I actually had a friend at locals say that to me, and I was like, facepalm me, please. I've seen this happen over time, and it's just this format. It's really sticking out like a sore thumb to me. This is not just for main meta decks right now. I'm noticing it's really a big thing with main meta decks. They main 3, Effect Veiler, Drill and Lockbird, stuff like that. identical. Every deck out there I'm seeing right now is identical. I just wanted to see if you guys notice this too out there with decks. That people are being less creative with Yu-Gi-Oh! They want these decks to be like somebody else to do the deck work, and then just, here, this is the deck I build, go do it. They just copy it. And they don't put any input of their own input into it. Now, if you notice in my videos that I profile decks, I say, well, you may, like my skill drain deck I posted earlier this week, I said, you may possibly want to use, Cabazals and Sabresauruses, so you could run maybe a kind of like a Dalkia and Lagia, or you may want to try this out. I always give suggestions in my videos of what you may want to do if you want to make the deck your own. That's what I do. I give you a template, and you can go do what you want with it. But I just don't like the idea that some people, they just... it's just the people... these main meta decks I'm seeing right now, they're just not being creative. The players are not being creative. They're not putting any of their thought into... There's so many Yu-Gi-Oh cards out there. There's thousands of different Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and you're telling me you can't think of anything to put in this deck to make it a little bit better than what this guy did. You're telling me that. That's just my rant, and I just want to talk about that. And I just want to ask if you guys have seen this same thing, that people just don't, they're not as creative in Yu-Gi-Oh as they used to be. Maybe that's the way decks are built nowadays. I just remember when I used to play a lot, competitively, even back when synchros were around. There was different things. People used different ideas to build decks, and it's just nowadays it's like a standard microwave deck. Like, here you go duel. You don't think, That's just my thoughts, and I want to ask if you guys see less creativity in the game now than you used to. This is not saying that every person out there is not creative in the game, but this is just asking you, do you see this as a trend? And I just wanted to ask you this. And until next time, everybody, take care, have fun dueling. Seto Kaiba, out. Hope you like this video, guys.